jewelry, a person needs no introduction, indicative of social rank, relationship status, interests, and beliefs. Jewelry is sometimes endearingly called a woman's best friend, or maybe even a man's. I'm Ces Orenia Drilon. Join me as we discover the transformative power of jewelry with top-notch jewelry designer Erica Concepcion Reyes, owner and founder of Riqueza Vintage and Fine Jewelry. Only here in Usapang Bilyonaryo. Oops,
There,
perfect.
yes.
Baka hindi ko na to alisin.
I've always an old soul, so I've always, in terms of music, in terms of even my taste in things, fashion, I've always liked 1950s, I've always liked vintage. So even in my jewelry,
The pieces that I carry are actually reproductions based on pre-colonial jewelry pieces. And
So
they're
the
made
designs
in-house. Are based on actual pre-colonial jewelry pieces, but what I sell are reproductions and are made in-house by my workers.
I remember in an interview with Joey, he said that Jocon was very kuripot.
he understood the value of money, so he was not wasteful, he was not extravagant. He was not. He was very mindful of what he would spend his money on. So he encouraged all of us to, even at a young age, to start a business. So even selling, like when you're 7 years old, I was 7 years old. I was selling like friendship bracelets, yung mga ganyan.
Wow. You know, I'm going to let you in on one of Manila's best kept secrets. And the lady of the house is here. This is her atelier. This is Erica Concepcion Reyes. Obviously, she's a jeweler because you can see that in this painting, the most striking thing, aside from the beauty of her face, of course, is this beautiful piece that she's wearing there. So this is her atelier. It is Riqueza Jewelry, which is Spanish for riches. So let's see if we're going to meet the lady of the house. Oh, Erica, you're there!
Hi,
in the
Seth.
flesh, not just in the painting.
Hi,
Did I say
Seth.
your jewelry?
Yes,
right?
yes, Riqueza,
Yeah,
that's correct.
thank
yes.
you for inviting
Of course,
us.
I'm so happy to have you here.
My first time, talagang I was just telling everybody here that I'm letting them in on Manila's best kept secret.
Thank you. Welcome to my shop. It's really
Thank
like an extension
you.
of my home.
It is.
Yes.
It feels very homey, parang intimate. Like
Yes.
It's like you're entering a salon of a
Yes.
very stylish,
Aw,
tasteful
thank you.
woman. So, Erica, I came without any adornment because I want to know how you will,
Of course.
you know,
Yes. Let's pick
put
out
some
something.
jewelry on
Let's
me.
pick out something for you.
Thanks! Makatikim man lang ako for a few hours. I
Okay.
know that you're a fan of pre-colonial jewelry because of Ramon Villegas.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's
you're-
actually the one who got me into this jewelry business. So he would design my personal pieces. That's when I first met him about 15 years ago or more. And then he encouraged me, because I really love jewelry, he encouraged me to make it into a business.
Wow.
Yes, so you'll see actually there are a lot of pieces, for example, like these, that are very much inspired by the things that I learned from him. Because
So this is pre-Spanish,
Yes,
no?
correct.
So people think that maybe not too many people know that we already had a treasure
Yes,
of
exactly.
gold.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I Ayan, so siguro bagay yan sa suot ko. Kasi
Yes,
medyo
I think
Filipiniana.
I think these earrings would look great.
Exactly what I was looking at.
And for like a cuff, maybe this one.
They must have been very skilled, no? The makers of this, even before the Spanish.
Yes.
Kasi to achieve this,
Exactly.
Very
And they would be
thin.
able to make it without, they didn't have machines, they didn't have, it was really by hand and with
Yeah.
very simple tools. Exactly.
so, oops,
There,
perfect!
yes.
Baka hindi ko na to alisin.
Oh, that looks great on you. We can try the earrings here. I think these would look great with your top.
Wow. What do you think?
Very nice. It's very striking.
Thank
Right.
you.
Antique
How
pieces.
did you know about him in the first
He was
place?
very close to my husband Francis Reyes because he was already working on pieces for my mother-in-law. Yes, so Francis and I were not married yet. We were still dating, and he introduced me to Ramon, and we really hit it off. Like he was my lunch companion almost every day. What I sell are reproductions and are made in-house by my workers. These are examples of reproductions of pre-colonial jewelry.
So this was an actual design that Filipinas wore before.
Yes, correct. So the way they would wear it, actually, it's without this top. So they put this through the ear.
But
So,
you made it
yes,
easier.
correct. To
Kasi
be able
that's
to
why
wear
I
now.
guess they had big
Yes,
holes.
correct. So that goes through the ear, and so it's worn actually this way. So I put a frame so now it faces forward.
This way,
Correct.
rather than dati, paside.
Yes. And this bangle is also based on pre-colonial jewelry.
Look at that.
So it's a reproduction. They get it from the rivers,
Yeah.
right? They just pan.
So it was pure.
Yes,
so it was
so it's
very
usually
thin.
22 carat, 24 carat.
This one, this repro you're selling is made of
This
what?
one is made in silver
Okay.
and then dipped in gold.
Now let's
Yes.
look at the
Mhm.
the books written by Ramon Villegas, your
Okay.
mentor.
Yes.
Ayan, no? So it's
So the-
really tracing
Correct.
the beginnings of Philippine jewelry.
Correct. So this was actually this was earlier.
This is what you showed us, no, kanina?
Correct, yes.
Something like this?
So the earrings that I showed earlier are reproductions of these pieces.
Ayan.
Yes, that's right. So this
it's
is another.
pag ganon, no?
Correct. Yes, they put that through the ear hole. This one also is another.
It
example.
shows the sophistication of the early Filipinos.
Yes. So the one that I showed you earlier is based on this earring.
So these are photographs of
Actual and
pre-colonial
antique.
jewelry.
Yes, yes. So this one is. So the
And
dates are all
what
there.
you're offering is women of today can actually celebrate our
Yes,
past by
correct.
using reproductions of.
Correct. Yeah.
Imagine, it looks so modern.
Yes, right? It's like a
And when
superwoman
was it-
cup. So this is
My God,
Right?
500 to 1000 AD.
yeah.
That
Yes.
old.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can wear something like this, a
Yes.
reproduction.
Yes. But I love it because it looks so modern.
It's
I know
the
we saw this.
simplicity, no?
Yes.
And if ever may adornment, hindi
It's-
siya over,
Yes, I
Hindi
agree.
siya, like
I
that,
agree.
oh.
I agree. No?
May movement.
Yes.
Diba?
So beautiful.
What made you go into that? Did you detect, did you see a market for it, or it was because you were simply interested?
I felt that, we had that gap, and it's nice to wear something Filipino, but it's so bold, and it's, but when you see it actually, it looks like it could be something that was made today, very modern in terms of the design. So I felt there was a gap in terms of like products being offered, and I didn't see that around, and I really, really liked it. So, and also because my mentor, Ramon Villegas, that was his specialty, so I was exposed to it through him. And I worked with him until his death in 2017. So even after that, I carried on and continued selling these pieces. The craftsmanship is amazing. So you see how rich and how the Filipinos before the Spanish colonial period, how highly skilled they were actually.
Now, Erica, what advice would you give? Because you started, well, from Tupperware parties.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
who want to start a small enterprise like you, and then it grew to this.
Yes. So I think it's really about finding what you're passionate about and staying true to that. And once you find that passion, you really you have to make that you have to make sure that whatever it is that you do it well. And then it's all about also the customer, right? So if you want to turn it into a business, your passion into a business, you really have to learn how to listen to your customers, to connect with them, and to hear their feedback, be willing to hear their feedback, be open to it, and really understand them. Ever since I was young, I guess I'm an old soul. So I've always, in terms of music, in terms of even my taste in things, fashion, I've always liked 1950s, I've always liked vintage. So even in my jewelry, that's why I carry a range of vintage estate jewelry, because they were pieces that I wanted to wear, really. So I would bring and I would carry pieces that my personal taste, really.
So you go to estate sales? Do you?
So I have already partners abroad. I've made friends with dealers, yes, internationally. So they help me source for certain things, or I tell them what I like. So that helps. But I also buy from local collectors or from estates here locally. So from both.
So it's interesting, like a treasure hunt in a way,
Yes,
no?
yes, yes. Because you never know actually what, you can see one beautiful thing today, and you see it that time and you never see it again,
Yeah.
right? I would acquire pieces from him, and my friends would see it, and then they loved it. And so I would bring them to Ramon,
Okay.
and I would say, like I introduced him to many of my friends.
Yeah.
And I would also give my input on design. So if I wanted something made, I would tell him, let's do this, like direction. And he said, why don't you try?
A Tupperware party.
Yes, so selling to family and friends, and it worked.
Any characteristic that you kind of inherited from this awesome great-grandmother?
Great-grandmother. Here is where I meet with my clients. I usually have, we have food, we have breakfast, lunch, merienda, or dinner. And then we catch up and we talk about designs they want to have made. This is retro.
Brings you back in
Correct,
time.
right? So this is also retro.
This one.
Yes, so these are retro.
Parang
These-
jackstones.
Yes. This one too. It looks like the tracks, because a lot of the bracelets they made during the time. If you look at a photo of the army tanks, there. So they're called a lot of them are the tank bracelets. So those are 1940s. This one is citrine, the November birthstone. So yes, retro also.
November, perfect. You inherited some pieces
Yes.
from your great-grandmother.
Yes, that's correct. So
Tell us about her.
she was a very strong woman, very nationalistic. So she wore a terno actually every day.
And of course, she was also a known philanthropist.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she founded White Cross, which is an orphanage so they take in children as young newborns and help them find homes. So that was her, she founded that.
So let's see the book about your Lola, who actually also got you started, diba?
Correct.
Oo.
Yes, yes.
So
So
this
this
is
was
her.
written by my grand aunt.
Look
This
at
is
that terno.
This is Victoria Lopez de Araneta. So she's a Lopez and then married Araneta. So she's my great-grandmother.
This
Later
is
on.
when there was a panuelo.
Correct.
Tayo, no?
Yes, correct. That's correct.
Oh, look at the jewelry. Minana mo ba yan? Any characteristic that you kind of inherited from this awesome great-grandmother?
Great-grandmother. It would be, she's very strong-willed and very purpose-driven. So when she sets her mind out to do something, she really wants to do it well. to the point, very with all the details.
We can see it in the store. It's very, you can see the meticulous attention that you gave to fixing the pieces. So, yeah, I would agree. Your grandfather's also very famous, very
Yes,
well
yes,
known.
Yes.
Also known for his philanthropy because, well, NAMFREL
Yes,
was
that
very
was what
active.
yes, that's correct, that's correct. So he was the one who founded NAMFREL. He's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
hardworking too, very much so. So he's an extreme workaholic. Like in his house, we all used to live together actually. So we lived in the same house. So I saw him growing up. He really had, they would call it, he was like, his paperwork, there were piles and piles. It was like planting rice. The moment he would wake up early. He would be working na. And then till late at night, he was also the same. I mean, very, very
Driven.
very
Yeah.
driven, and very goal-oriented. So I never, like my memory of him growing up was really always constantly working.
How was it like though, growing up? You said you grew up in the house where
Yes,
So,
with my grandparents and
all
my
of you
aunt.
must have been a riot.
Yes, super fun. So always like family meals were so many, were all complete.
I remember in an interview with Joey, he said that Jocon was very kuripot. To date, they would have to. That's why though he sold popcorn or something. Anyway, or sell old clothes or something.
He's
Was it
very-
true that parang they taught you the value of money?
Yes, that's true. I mean, but he understood the value of money. So he was not wasteful. He was not extravagant. He was not, he was very mindful of what he would spend his money on. So he encouraged all of us to, even at a young age, to start a business. So even selling, like when you're 7 years old, I was 7 years old, I was selling like friendship bracelets, yung mga ganyan.
At 7 years
At
old.
7, 8, or like
Well,
I'd make my own
iba
stuffed
na ang
toys.
mga bracelet ngayon. Hindi na. You would make your own stuff.
Yes, stuffed toys. I mean, it was just, I guess, the atmosphere of the family. It was a very,
Very entrepreneurial.
Yes, that's correct. So even my aunt, she, of course, there was the business, which was RFM.
Yeah.
But on each of us, on our own, we had our own
Little thing.
business, yes, going on.
All-
When I look at all my aunts and uncles, all of them, like they like to be working,
You
busy.
don't like to be idle. Yeah.
Yes, no.
You don't like to be a woman of leisure.
Yes, no. I mean, ideally I do, but then when I'm idle, I'm not happy. I'm not, I don't feel productive. I think I like having goals and working to reach those goals.
Give us an idea of the price, like of the price range of vintage jewelry.
So this works for me because like some people have been suggesting to me to expand and open a shop and open meaning in a
commercial
mall,
area.
a commercial area. But I'm happy with this setup because I get to control my own time also. I get to manage my own time and I get to meet clients and talk to each one. So it's a more personal, like a more personal touch.
What do they look for in a piece of jewelry?
Yes, so it's really special and unique pieces that they can only find from me or from that they cannot find elsewhere, and things that are made well in terms of the craftsmanship.
So you must have dealt with all sorts of personalities.
Yes. But it's always such a joy. I love meeting new people and reconnecting with old clients as well. That's the part I enjoy actually. My most precious jewelry pieces are actually things that tell a story and that have like these charms They're each
Beautiful.
unique
They have
in their own way.
meanings.
Yes.
Or siguro significant
Yes.
times in your life.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So,
Okay, what happened when you had this?
so these are actually things I've collected during my travels.
It doesn't have to cost like
Yes, exactly.
millions and millions
yes.
of pesos
Yes.
to be precious, valuable.
Yes.
Give us an idea of the price, like of the price range of vintage jewelry.
The
Like pwedeng
tambourines.
20,000 lang.
Yes,
Or
like
you can
tambourine.
buy
If it's in
something
silver.
tambourine. So modest
Yes,
amount
yes,
can get
yes.
you started
Yes, yes.
collecting.
Yes,
And
yes.
then the value goes up as time passes.
With anything that for as long as it's something that they can't really make anymore in the same with the same quality and with the same workmanship, and that's my belief. Anything that is difficult to replicate, or if they tried to, the cost would probably be more.
How do you close the deal? What tips can you give?
Well, fortunately, that works both ways, because also since I deal with a lot of vintage and antique pieces, estate pieces, because it really is just one of its. There's only one of that style or that design, so it can also work in a way. I mean, well, in a way, because the client knows that if they pass on it, they may
done
not get it to her.
forever.
Yes, yes. So it can work. Yes,
so you tell them,
yes.
well, this is the last.
Yes, yes, yes.
You don't get it,
Yes.
you might if
Yes.
you don't,
Correct.
you
Correct.
might regret.
Yes, yes. Because there are some pieces that, many pieces actually, that I've parted with, that I've sold, and I've never come across them again.
Does it break your heart to part
Yes,
with someone?
yes, so many times. There are times that it is quite difficult, because I know there are some pieces I actually know, chances are I will not come across again. But I always remember, this is a business. I cannot keep everything. And when I see the client and it makes her so happy, I'm happy that it's going to a good home or to a good collection. And then I see them wear it, and then I see, it brings them so much joy. Some, they wear it daily. So when I see that, it's like, oh, okay, it's being loved. It's being appreciated and worn, which is the important thing. I think jewelry should always be worn, right? I mean, not kept, ideally. I mean, it really is, it should bring you joy, right?
Erica Concepcion Reyes is now reaping much-deserved recognition and success, and is certainly a secret no more. Through her carefully crafted collections and restored heirloom gems, she is reminding us of the value of embracing and honoring our heritage by learning from our past while living our present with grit and grace. And just like her heirloom pieces, may we all have rich lives with interesting stories to tell. I'm Ces Orenia Drilon. See you again next Monday here on Usapang Bilyonaryo. Watch the full-length producer's cut on Bilyonaryo Digital on YouTube and on Bilyonaryo's Facebook page.